Peppa goes swimming. It's a lovely sunny day, and Peppa and her family are at the swimming pool. Peppa, George, let Daddy put on your armbands, snorts Mummy Pig. Today is George's first time at the pool, and he's a bit scared of getting in. Why don't you just put one foot in the water, suggests Daddy Pig. Maybe George should try both feet at the same time, says Mummy Pig. Splash! Mummy Pig convinces George to jump into the water, and he loves it. Shouts George happily. Ho ho! Well done, George, snorts Daddy Pig. Rebecca Rabbit, her brother Richard, and their mother arrive at the pool too.
Hello everyone,
cries Rebecca.
Squeak squeak,
Says Richard.
Richard, hold on to this float so you can practice kicking your legs,
Says Miss Rabbit.
George, would you like to try kicking your legs too?
Asks Mummy Pig. Giggles George. Ho ho! Very good, laughs Daddy Pig. But please try not to splash.
Big children don't splash,
Asks Peppa.
Big children are very good at swimming,
Declares Peppa.
When George and Richard are older, they will be able to swim like us, won't they, Rebecca?
Yes, says Rebecca, as she watches the boys kick and splash. Peppa and Rebecca race each other up and down the pool with their swimming armbands on. They are having lots of fun swimming and splashing in the water. Oops! Richard has dropped his toy watering can into the pool.
Mommy,
cries Richard.
Sorry, Richard, I can't reach it. It's too far down,
says Miss Rabbit. Luckily, Daddy Pig is an excellent swimmer. He takes off his glasses and dives down to get it. Ho, ho. There you go, snorts Daddy Pig. Says Richard. Well done, Daddy, says Mummy Pig.
Yes, thank you, Daddy Pig,
says Miss Rabbit. Oh dear, Richard is so happy to have his watering can back that he splashes Daddy Pig with water. George laughs. What a silly little piggy and rabbit. Everyone has had a fun day at the swimming pool. The end. Peppa Pig, I love you, Daddy Pig.
What are we doing today, Daddy?
Asked Peppa one morning. Today, said Daddy Pig, we're going on a surprise adventure. Ooh, gasped Peppa and George, bouncing up and down in their seats. When Daddy Pig had everything ready, he called Peppa and George. Are you ready for your dadventure? He asked.
Yes, Daddy,
they cried, giggling. First stop, the supermarket, said Daddy Pig.
That doesn't sound very adventure-y,
said Peppa. You'll see, Daddy Pig replied. Daddy Pig zoomed around the supermarket with the trolley. This is how you shop in style, he cried, dancing and juggling with the food, then rolling the tins down his arms and into the trolley. Peppa and George clapped their hands.
Go, Daddy!
Peppa, George and Daddy Pig filled the trolley to the very top. Plunk, plop, crash. I think that's everything, said Daddy Pig.
I think that's everything in the shop,
said Miss Rabbit.
Daddy,
said Peppa as they put their food in the car.
I love shopping in style.
Me too, agreed Daddy Pig. Next stop, lunch with Granny and Grandpa Pig, announced Daddy Pig.
Lunch isn't an adventure, Daddy,
said Peppa.
We have lunch every day.
Yes, but do you have it on a pirate ship? Asked Daddy Pig.
No,
said Peppa.
Arr!
Cried George in his best pirate voice. Everybody hopped on board the ship for a special pirate picnic made by Daddy Pig.
Goodness,
said Grandpa Pig.
This delicious food is worthy of the captain's table. Daddy,
said Peppa.
I love pirate picnics.
Me too, said Daddy Pig, munching away.
Where are you off to next, my little pirates?
Asked Granny Pig. I need to do a spot of work, said Daddy Pig.
Oh,
sighed Peppa.
Work's boring, Daddy.
Not my work, Peppa, said Daddy Pig. My work is an adventure. He pointed over to Miss Rabbit, who was waiting for them in her helicopter.
Ready to fly to work, Daddy Pig?
Asked Miss Rabbit. We are indeed, said Daddy Pig.
Wow,
gasped Peppa and George, buckling up. They waved goodbye to Granny and Grandpa Pig, and then Miss Rabbit zoomed them across the sky.
Daddy,
called Peppa over the noise of the helicopter.
I love going to work.
Me too, called Daddy Pig. Miss Rabbit landed the helicopter at the playground. First, all the holes need filling with concrete, said Daddy Pig. Peppa and George sat in the driver's seat of a big, loud truck and poured concrete all over the playground.
Daddy,
shouted Peppa.
I love pouring concrete.
Me too, Daddy Pig shouted back. And now it is time to test all the play equipment to make sure it works, said Daddy Pig.
Hooray!
cheered Peppa, running to the seesaw.
Whee!
cried George, zipping down the slide and flying over the wet concrete.
Where to next, Daddy Pig?
asked Miss Rabbit. The fair, please, said Daddy Pig.
Righty-o,
said Miss Rabbit. At the fair, Peppa, George and Daddy Pig filled all the holes with concrete. Then they tested all the rides. Twice.
Daddy,
said Peppa.
I love the fair.
Me too, agreed Daddy Pig. We have one last job, said Daddy Pig. We must sign our work. Peppa, George and Daddy Pig gently pressed their hands into the wet concrete. Now everyone will know who poured this amazing concrete. Miss Rabbit flew everyone back to the car.
Daddy,
shouted Peppa.
I love your job.
Me too, agreed Daddy Pig. When they got home, Mammy Pig asked Daddy Pig how their day was. Oh, just a normal day, really, said Daddy Pig. We did a little shopping, had some lunch with Granny and Grandpa Pig, and then I had to do a spot of work. He winked at Peppa and George. Peppa and George winked back at him. After their baths, Daddy Pig tucked Peppa and George into bed.
Daddy,
Said Peppa.
I love...
Peppa stopped to yawn. Yes, Peppa, said Daddy Pig.
I love... you, Daddy,
Said Peppa. I love you too, said Daddy Pig. I love both my little adventurers. After such a busy day, the two little adventurers soon fell fast asleep.
Daddy Pig,
Said Mammy Pig when he came back downstairs.
what are these?
She held up the pirate costumes, hard hats, and photos from the rides at the fair.
I thought you spent the day shopping, having lunch with Granny and Grandpa Pig, and doing some work.
Well, said Daddy Pig, and then he told Mummy all about his day. Mummy Pig was very impressed.
I love you, Daddy Pig,
She said,
you make every day an adventure.
The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's New Neighbours. Daddy Pig is working hard. He is building a new house. The new house looks very small.
Is it a house for elves and fairies?
Asked Peppa. No, chuckles Daddy Pig. This is just a model. Daddy Pig shows Peppa and George a drawing of what the real house will look like.
Something is missing,
Says Peppa. She draws a swing to go outside the house. Perfect, decides Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig takes Peppa and George to see the new house. Here we are, he snorts.
But Daddy,
Says Peppa.
there's nothing here.
That's because the building work hasn't started yet, replies Daddy Pig. Mr. Bull is going to build the new house for Daddy Pig. Can you build it exactly like this, please? Says Daddy Pig.
But bigger.
Adds Peppa. Mr. Bull shouts to his friend. Mr. Pig wants a house. Is it going to be built of straw? Asked Mr. Rhino. Or sticks? Asked Mr. Labrador. Or bricks? Asked Mr. Bull. Daddy Pig wants the new house to be made out of brick. Mr. Bull gets straight to work.
Can we help?
Wonders Peppa. You can lay the first brick, smiles Mr. Bull. Mr. Bull tells George to put a blob of mortar on the ground. Mortar is a special kind of mud that sticks bricks together. Each brick must be laid straight and level. It will take ages.
Will you finish it today?
Asked Peppa. You can't build a house in a day, snorts Mr. Bull. It will be finished tomorrow. The next morning, Peppa and George go straight over to see the new house.
It's finished,
Snorts Peppa. It's almost finished, says Daddy Pig. It just needs to be inspected. Mr. Rabbit is the building inspector. He looks carefully at the new house. Very good, he decides. But you forgot the swing. Oh, no, we didn't, shouts Mr. Bull. The house is all ready for the new neighbours to move in. Mr. Wolf and his family arrive. Mr. Wolf tries huffing and puffing, but the house does not fall down. It is very strong. What is the new house made of? Asks Mr. Wolf. Bricks, replies Daddy Pig, so don't even think about it. Wendy Wolf likes the new swing.
Can you push me?
Asks Peppa.
No,
Grins Wendy.
I'll huff and puff you instead.
The end. Peppa Pig Bicycle Race. It is a lovely sunny day. Peppa and George are going out for a ride. Peppa rings her bell. Ding ding. Come on, George, she says. Follow me. Peppa is riding her bicycle. George is riding his tricycle. Hurry up, George, calls Peppa. You're going so slowly, says George. Peppa sees her friends, Danny Dog, Susie Sheep, and Rebecca Rabbit. They are riding their bicycles too. Danny points down the hill. Let's have a race to the bottom, he says. Danny, Susie and Rebecca ride very fast. Peppa rides quite fast. George does not ride very fast at all. George is riding a baby bike, snorts Peppa. So are you, says Danny. You've still got stabilisers. Peppa looks down at her bike. It is the only one with stabilisers on it. Let's ride up the hill again, says Danny. No, says Peppa. I think I'll stay here. Peppa asks Daddy Pig to take her stabilisers off. Do you think you can ride without them? He says. I can do it, Peppa nods. I can. She gets on her bicycle and starts pedalling. Uh-oh, Peppa falls onto the grass. Riding without stabilisers is hard. George giggles. It is not funny. Peppa frowns. Daddy Pig helps Peppa to get back on her bicycle. Let's try again, he says. Ready, steady, go. Don't let go of me, Daddy, says Peppa. Don't worry, says Daddy Pig. I've got you. Peppa pedals faster and faster. You're doing really well, shouts Daddy Pig. Peppa looks round. Daddy Pig has let go. Ho ho, he cries. You're cycling on your own. Peppa can ride on her own without stabilisers. Wow. She goes to find her friends. Look at me, shouts Peppa. I can ride my bike properly. Danny, Susie and Rebecca all cheer. Hooray! Hooray! Come on, says Peppa. Let's race down the hill again. Danny, Susie and Rebecca ring their bells. Peppa loves riding her bicycle. Everyone loves riding bicycles. The end. Peppa Pig, A Trip to the Moon. It is a lovely sunny day, and George and his friend Edmund are playing with their space toys in the garden. Oh dear, Edmund's space toy has landed on Peppa's head. She is not happy. Are you going to the moon, boys? Says Daddy Pig. No, says George. It's just boring space stuff for babies, Daddy, says Peppa. It's not real. Space is real, Peppa, replies Daddy Pig. Mummy Pig tells everyone there is a show at the museum that is all about the moon. Wow. That sounds fun. Shall we go and see it? Asked Daddy Pig. Hooray! George and Edmund laugh. They want to see the show. At the museum, they all buy tickets. Are we really going to the moon? Peppa asks. No, Peppa, it's just pretend, Miss Rabbit tells her. Mr. Rabbit is a tour guide. This way for our trip to the moon, he calls, leading them inside. Prepare for takeoff. When they are all seated in the rocket, a voice booms, Blast off! We live on a planet. Does anyone know what it's called? Mr. Rabbit asks. Earth, Daddy Pig guesses. That's right, Mr. Rabbit smiles. And what is the moon made of? Mr. Rabbit wants to know next. The moon is made of cheese, of course, Daddy Pig jokes. But Mr. Rabbit doesn't find it very funny. No, the moon is made of rock. This is a serious tour, so no jokes, please. It is pretend, though, isn't it? Peppa asks. Yes, Peppa, if it was the real moon, you could jump over my head, Mr. Rabbit tells her. Gravity is what keeps us on the ground, and it is weaker on the moon, so you can jump higher.
Wow!
Some big rubber bands drop down and Mr. Rabbit straps everyone in. Peppa and the others feel like they are jumping on the moon. It is so much fun. Miss Rabbit tells them to say, Moon cheese, as she takes a picture. It is the end of the tour, so Miss Rabbit takes everyone to the moon shop. How about some real moon cheese? Says Miss Rabbit. How much is it? Asks Daddy Pig. £5, please, says Miss Rabbit. £5? Snorts Daddy Pig. It's all for a good cause, says Miss Rabbit. I like the moon now because it is very interesting, says Peppa, holding a picture of everybody bouncing on the moon. And very tasty, laughs Daddy Pig, eating his yummy moon cheese. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.